looks bright for Milwaukee Tool. As fascinating as the history is, you guys are adding a huge addition to your facility here.
Well, you know what? It is bright. We are growing. Have gone in the past 10 years from 207 people here to over 1,000 professionals.
To catch up with Steve and learn more about the history. And what was amazing to me is the partnership and the appreciation Milwaukee Tool has for the electrical industry, especially IBW 494, with their roots being right here in Milwaukee. Right here. It's a huge addition. Tell us a little bit about it.
What's going on here is they're putting on over 200,000 square foot addition to their existing facility here. We have our great partner Hunzinger Construction that's leading this, and our on-site electrical contractor, Uihlein Electric.
Mike, looks like the guys are hard at work here putting in the electrical service. I wanted to have you on and catch up with you with all your knowledge to explain the electrical service in a building like this.
Sure. Well, power in this situation, which is kind of unique, is coming from the existing building, and it comes into our main distribution panel that is right here. So right now our guys are starting to tie together the bus bars to link the three individual pieces of this equipment. So power is going to come in on this side, and then from here, it'll go out to the rest of the building. Right. Like so, a normal household is around a 100 amp panel.
Yep.
This one happens to be 3,000 amps.
Wow.
Which is going to be more than enough to handle anything they want to put in this building.
Okay, and so getting back to it, you said they're tying into their existing electrical at the original building. And you said that's rather unique, rather than bringing in its own proprietary service?
Right. In a normal situation, in a new construction, you would have We Energies bring in its own power straight from the power company, would have its own meter. In this situation, because we already had the service there, they've got their meters, they're all set. We're just bringing in new power to suffice for their new building.
Sure. Now you use the term bus bar here. What exactly is a bus bar?
So the bus bar is a copper bar that is connected to our cables, and then from the cables to the bus bar, from the bus bar to the breakers. It's carrying the electricity. So instead of a wire like you were used to,
yep,
this is an actual copper bar.
Oh, and so it kind of gets distributed into multiple different panels here instead of just one?
Correct. And there's all sorts on the other side here. We're looking at the back of it. On the other side, there's all sorts of different breakers that are going to go throughout the rest of the building. In here, we're going to have all the small breakers, and anybody can come and turn on and off if they need to be working on something or something happens.
Okay, so every floor will have one of these, or could there be multiple ones?
No, every floor is actually going to have 4 of these sub-panels, and that's just for the 120 volt, which would be for outlets and such. We also have different panels for lighting. We have panels for fire alarm. We have panels for lighting control. There's a bunch of different things involved in this.
You know, it sounds like there's a lot more that goes into the electrical than just simply running electrical lines. I mean, it must all start with design, and you guys have to be able to read plans and understand all that?
It takes years of practice to be able to look at a print and understand everything that's on that print and then be able to make it happen in the real world.
As I recall, they didn't have a ceiling, right? So that's got to be challenging to run all the piping for the electrical.
And this is a very unique building because there are no ceilings in here. They want the open construction look. They want to see our pipes. They want to see the ductwork. They want to see all that stuff.
Cool.
So our stuff has to look perfect. We can't have raggedy bends or anything looking bad because everybody's going to be looking at it.
Wow. Well, let's go down and take a look at the end point, maybe in somebody's office, to see where they're going to have access to the electrical. So what's going on in this office?
Right here, Marion is taking that power we saw from the sub-panels, and he's starting to pipe the lighting.
Wow, are you using laser technology here?
Well, like I said before, because this is an open concept and you can see everything, we have to be perfect. So we are using lasers to set all the boxes.
Sure, it's going to all be exposed. It's going to look beautiful and it's stunning. You know, earlier we were talking about the intricacies of the electrical trade, and here's a great example of the intimate knowledge you need of the plan. Look at this. This is just crazy. What you need to know to be an electrician in the modern world.
On these plans, it's not just our electrical. You can see that our lights and our outlets are on here, but we also have to incorporate all the other trades. So we have the ductwork, we have the plumbing, we have to coordinate that with every trade so we're not in each other's ways.
Okay, now over here, is this one of your members?
Yeah, this is Mike. He's doing something similar to what Marion was doing, but instead of piping the lighting, he's actually bringing power down to the outlets and the switches.
You know, I look at a structure like this, big open floor plan, but a lot of offices on the outside. Again, I try to analogize it back to my home setting. Is there going to be one breaker per office?
Pretty close. That might actually be 2 offices per breaker, but there's also going to be different breakers for lighting, and then all of a sudden your data has got a different setup.
Okay, and along those lines, what exactly is there as far as wiring in each office?
It's always growing and it's always changing, so we got to stay ahead of the game. So, the old Cat 5 that used to come to your data outlets, well, that's almost non-existent. Now you're at Cat 6, and it's getting very complicated.
Wow, and so you have the data lines, you have electrical for traditional outlets, and then you have the lighting that goes in here. Does that pretty much wrap it up?
Well, yeah, that's pretty much close. When power comes down into one of the switches, and then we use something that's called MC, which is very durable but very flexible. It's very easy to use. It's common practice in today's construction for electricians now.
So these are obviously wrapped because of the metal studs, is that why?
Correct. So the wire is inside of this, and it's protected by this metal cabling.
Well, it's awesome to see the skeleton of a structure under construction.